ATACMS, the weapon Ukraine could hit Russia with from 186 miles away. The HIMARS missile system given to Ukraine in military aid packages by the United States has been used very effectively since its first appearance on the battlefield. As 1945 reported earlier, U.S. Army General Mark Hertling, RET, said that the HIMARS system had been a game changer against the Russian forces in the invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine fires guided multiple launch rocket systems, GMLRS, from HIMARS, which have successfully targeted key Russian military targets such as command posts and ammunition depots. These GMLRS have a range of about 50 miles. However, Kyiv has asked for the Army Tactical Missile System, ATACMS, which has a range of about 186 miles. But thus far, Washington has declined this request. We don't want to take steps that widen the conflict, and so some of the assurances that we've asked for in the context of these particular systems are mindful of that, of not wanting these systems to be used to attack Russian territory, Colin Kahl, U.S. Undersecretary of Defense said. We have provided them with hundreds and hundreds of these precision-guided systems, and the Ukrainians have been using them to extraordinary effect on the battlefield, Kahl said. It's our assessment that the most relevant munitions for the current fight are the GMLRS. We have prioritized getting the Ukrainians the GMLRS they need, not only to hold in the east but may generate some momentum elsewhere in the country. The ATACMS performs the mission of giving the U.S. military a weapon between conventional artillery, GMLRS missiles, and long-range ballistic and cruise missiles. While listed as a ballistic missile, that isn't entirely accurate. Although it travels on a ballistic arc, the ATACMS, on its downward trajectory, performs a series of rapid moves, turns, and course corrections that make it hard to track and harder to intercept. The U.S. Army characterizes the ATACMS as a maneuvering missile. It can be fired from either the HIMARS or the M270 MLRS. In a July 20 interview, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov stated that the territorial scope of Russia's special military operation would expand if Ukraine received long-range weapons from the West. Lavrov highlighted the West's provision of HIMARS artillery to Ukraine as a cause for this expansion. Lavrov's assertion that if Ukraine got the ATACMS, this would necessitate Russia to expand the scope of its invasion. One line of thought suggests that this would indicate that Russia might seek to push a further 300 kilometers into Ukrainian territory to negate the range of the ATACMS. This follows the Moscow playbook where they quickly threaten an escalation if Washington were to send the long-range missiles to Kyiv. Andrei Morachko, a spokesman for the so-called People's Militia of the LNR, which is a proxy for Moscow, echoed Lavrov's threats and stated that after the Russian capture of Lysychansk that Russia and its separatist proxies would need to advance 300 kilometers deeper into Ukrainian territory to secure its borders fully. The recent events in Crimea have resulted in conflicting storylines by the Ukraine Defense Ministry. When the Sake airfield was heavily damaged, with at least 9 aircraft destroyed, which was half the combat aircraft of the Black Sea Fleet's 43rd Independent Naval Attack Aviation Regiment. A Ukrainian official said that a device exclusively of Ukrainian manufacture was used, leading many to believe it was a drone or perhaps a U.S. Harpoon anti-ship missile. Later, Ukrainian Defense Secretary Alexei Reznikov said to the Washington Post that the attacks in Crimea resulted from a cadre of saboteurs, a resistance force, that were trained and led by Ukrainian special forces, targeting ammunition depots, fuel warehouses, and Russian command centers. But several U.S. special operators were convinced that this wasn't sabotage, citing the size of the craters would require 500 pounds of C4 explosives. Many believe, and it has already been rumored, that the Ukrainians have already taken possession of ATACMS. Although Washington has declined to send ATACMS to Ukraine, many of the U.S. allies have them. Among the known operators of the ATACMS are Australia, Bahrain, Greece, Poland, Romania, South Korea, Taiwan, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and the USA. One of our allies, thorough covertly or clandestine U.S. military aid, could have given the Ukrainians some of the missiles.